to NFL Live.
NFL Live begins with Week 3 storylines. Cowboys QB Tony Romo expected to play in tonight's Monday night game against the Redskins. He's still dealing with the pain from the fractured rib. The good news is the punctured lung is healed. The Bills and Lions, who each last made the playoffs in 19 and 99, are off to 3-0 starts after huge 20-point comeback wins. The Bills beat the Patriots while the Lions won at Minnesota. The Steelers survived a scare in Indy, while the Saints overcame a 10-point deficit to beat the Texans. Both Pittsburgh and New Orleans have won 2 straight after losing their season openers. The Colts are 0-3, and Peyton Manning doesn't appear to be coming back anytime soon. Colts owner Jim Irsay tweeted there's an outside chance that he could return in December. More likely, prepare for him in 2012. And Michael Vick does not have a broken hand, just a contusion. But he does have very strong feelings about how the referees were calling his games and the lack of penalties. Lots to get into on this Monday. Hi, everybody, and welcome into NFL Live. Glad you are here with us. Trey Wingo, Merrill Hodge, and Tim Hasselbeck. Guys, the Dream Team off to a nightmarish start in Philadelphia. It is now 1-2. Sunday, they lost in their home opener, and in the process of that loss to the Giants, a team they had beaten 6 straight times, including playoffs, they lost Michael Vick to injury for the 2nd straight game. This time, it's a bad right hand. How bad is it? Well, for the very latest, Rachel Nichols has more from Philadelphia.
Well, Trey, the good news for Michael Vick is that he does not have a broken hand after all. The Eagles said that on Sunday, doctors had actually confused a blood vessel for a fracture line on his x-ray, and that further tests Monday showed the injury is merely a deep bruise. The bad news? Coach Andy Reid says the hand is not currently in game shape. Vick can't handle snaps or handoffs.
He still has a bunch of swelling in it that's got to get out of there. It's sensitive to the touch right now, so that part's got to go on. But the positive is there's not a fracture there.
It's still sore, still swollen, but I think with the rehab during the week, we'll see how it recovers and how well it gets. It's constant concern, but we still have time to figure this whole deal out and have an opportunity to see how it feels come Wednesday and Thursday and make some progress in the treatment room.
It's not to say that he can't play with the swelling. It's just got to be where he can bend his hand, where he can work with it.
Reid said that how the swelling reacts over the next few days will determine if Vick can play Sunday. Although he noted Vick has already told him he wants to give it a go. Reid had less to say on Vick's post-game comments, that he's not getting the same calls other quarterbacks get after being hit late by defenders. Trey, if you look at the numbers since 2010, Eagles opponents have actually been docked for roughing the passer more than the opponents of any other team in the NFC East. But then you also have to take into account that Vick gets hit more than the quarterbacks on those teams as well.
Rachel, thank you. Michael Vick has played all 16 games just once in his NFL career that began in 2001. He's missed a total of 17 games because of injuries, with the most severe being that broken leg he sustained during the 2003 preseason. Now, you heard Rachel allude to the fact that Michael said he thought he was not getting calls that other teams were getting. Well, this is exactly what Vick had to say on that topic after the game.
Trying to protect myself. Still didn't get a flag. And that's pretty much been the story for the last 3 weeks. And, I mean, obviously at some point, something catastrophic is going to happen, and I broke my hand. Not to blame the refs or said it was their fault.
Do you feel you're not getting the calls that other quarterbacks get?
Absolutely. Everybody's seen the game. I'm on the ground constantly, all the time. Every time I throw the ball and all my highlights and just watching film in general, every time I throw the ball, I'm on the ground, getting hit in the head. And, I don't know why I don't get the 15-yard flags like everybody else do. But, hey, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just making everybody aware of it. And hopefully somebody will take notice.
Well, clearly that's what a lot of coaches do in the NBA playoffs, to call attention to fouls not being called. But Samsung takes us next level to look at the heat being put on Michael Vick this season. With 1 game left in Week 3, only Jay Cutler has been hit or under duress on more dropbacks this season than Vick. Vick's only been sacked 4 times compared to 14 for Jay Cutler. Okay, that was Michael Vick after the game. Here was Michael Vick some 24 hours later.
Maybe I shouldn't have approached it in that fashion, and because the truth of the matter is, we can't control the situation. The refs have to do their job, and they have tons of things to look over. So I think I was kind of out of character and being too candid in that aspect. But You know, ultimately, I respect the referees and their decisions to make calls, and that's the way it'll be. And you won't hear me complaining about it no more.
Listen, I don't think anybody felt like Michael Vick was disrespecting the officials, but he obviously brought it into question because he felt like he was taking more hits, and he probably is because a lot of times he's a runner. But, you know, by the numbers, you heard what Rachel said, since 2010, the start of 2010, they've had more roughing the passer calls against Philadelphia or benefited from than any of the team in the NFC East. And in fact, only 6 teams in the NFL have had more than the Eagles have had against them. So they're not getting any less calls than any other team. They're actually getting more than most.
Yeah, well, I think what you have to have is perspective. You know, first of all, you got to, what is Michael Vick as a quarterback? I mean, I name him must-see TV because he's going to do something you've never seen on a football field before. However, when you look at him in the pocket, he doesn't play with great structure. You know, he's a quarterback that has to kind of see throws. He doesn't have great anticipation. Like Brady has great anticipation. We talk about accuracy and decision-making. The thing that bridges that is anticipation. Okay, a guy like Jay Cutler, Vick, they'll hold the ball a little longer. Therefore, they're going to take a few more shots. That's why it's self-inflicted. I already told you about, I'm going to bring Jay Cutler up here because last night I went and looked at tape. I look at all the times these guys get hit. Here's a great example. You just don't anticipate quite enough. You get the ball up, but you take a hit. You know, that's what happened to Vick yesterday as well. You know, you get the ball off, you turn around, the official's right here. When he sees the giant guy come, he sees the shoulder pad get hit right as Vick gets rid of the football. Based on his angle, he doesn't see that the helmet goes down and to the other side like we see it from this angle. Had the official been on our side, hey, maybe he does call that. But then it comes down to a judgment call by the official. What he's looking for, was he hit up around the head? Did anybody lunge at a player? And was the ball gone? You know, that last few seconds, it was so close, it would be hard to call that a flag if the official was on this side. But you could take any quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, right, Jay Cutler, Tom Brady, and they could have 1 or 2 plays every game. They're like, why didn't they call this?
Well, and that's the point when I look at this. There's no doubt the quicker you throw the football, the less hits you're going to take. But you look around the National Football League, there's just a discrepancy in terms of how each official is calling a roughing the quarterback. You look at Kerry Collins in the Sunday night game. Kerry Collins gets hit in the head, gets knocked out of the football game well after the ball is thrown. There's no flag on the play. He got knocked out. Kerry Collins isn't whining about not getting this call. To me, it's just a bigger problem in the National Football League because it's an interpretation call for officials. They're interpreting on a bang-bang play where a quarterback got hit, and it usually happens right after a ball is thrown. They're also looking for holding. There's a lot to look at, and they're not accurate, and it's not consistent across the board.
I think that's the biggest thing. There is no consistency with how this thing is being called from game to game. But just to take it one step further, the 6 teams that have gotten more calls, Carolina, Chicago, Oakland, St. Louis, Cleveland, and Denver. We're not talking the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Bradys, the Drew Breeses of the world. So it's not a preferential treatment thing one way or the other, depending on how you've been in the league. But certainly, Michael Vick is smart to bring it to the attention because now people are talking about it. Yeah. And perhaps it might get a call change one way or the other going forward.
You'd be smarter if you just walked up to the official prior to the game. Hey, could you watch out a little bit? I think I'm getting some shots I don't deserve. Could you watch that for me?
Keep that on the radar, Mike.
Right,
we appreciate that. Meanwhile, we'll keep you on the radar on what to expect in tonight's Monday night game, what to watch for. Monday Night Football as the Redskins and Cowboys meet for the 103rd time, including playoffs. Redskins are looking for their first 3-0 start since 2005. Oh, by the way, that was the last time they won a playoff game as well. So time now for a DirecTV team report. For the very latest, we go to Cowboy Stadium outside Dallas in Arlington, Texas. The words of Ed Werder. Ed, so much talk about Tony Romo and what he's going to have to do to play with that fractured rib. What more can you tell us?
Well, after the most remarkable victory of Tony Romo's career, the Cowboys confront another test of their character and depth tonight. Romo's expecting to start despite a fractured rib. Wide receiver Miles Austin is out, and every teammate to whom Romo throws or hands off is playing through a significant injury. According to my sources, Romo is scheduled to be injected with a painkiller here at the stadium while under X-ray because this is a delicate procedure in which doctors have to be careful not to puncture the lung. He'll also test in pregame warm-ups a protective vest like this one using a Kevlar composite fabric from Unequal Technologies. Backup quarterback John Kitten has told us he's on full alert mode, and Coach Jason Garrett told us that third-team quarterback Stephen McGee will be active for the first time this season. Redskins defensive coordinator Jim Haslett expects the Cowboys to run the ball, Trey, even though they have the worst average per carry in the league, and starter Felix Jones is coming off a dislocated shoulder.
All right, Ed, thanks. We appreciate that. Lots more coming on this edition of NFL Live. Later, more on how Romo's injuries could affect how he plays and, more importantly, perhaps how long he plays in the game. Plus, Peyton Manning, will we see him again in 2011? Confusing information coming out of Indianapolis. And Tom Brady tied a career worst on Sunday. We'll let you know what it was. This is NFL Live.
Under it at the 40. Intercepted it. Looking for a block. Comes wide to the right. Turns the corner to midfield. Race to the 20. Touchdown, Deion Sanders.
What time is it? Oh, it's prime time, baby. It's prime time.
Atlanta Falcons first round choice, Deion Sanders, cornerback, Florida State.
I was kind of scared. I thought Detroit was going to take me. I would ask for so much money that I had to put me on layaway.
Sanders to midfield. He starts the high step at the 25. He did it again.
Screaming and you hear yelling and you're looking across that field and you just sizing up and lining up your competitor. And you know he's going to have to deal with you because you have that confidence, you have that cockiness.
I got one thing to say. This is my house.
That you have that arrogance about yourself.
I built this, and this is my house.
No one else is on the field but you and me.
This is my house, and this will always be my house.
And guess what? All these people out here, they came to see me.
I'm back. Mom, I always wanted to be a star, didn't I? Now I get to be a star every day on my helmet.
So it's going to be a long day for you.
Dances right, dances left, dances up the middle.
They're not catching him down the sideline.
Wrong. That's all I need, baby.
Deion Sanders is dancing.
It's prime time.
Quick snap, Gronkowski on 3rd and 12. It's wide open. It's the first catch. A.J. Green on a 41-yard touchdown, beating Hayden. And for Green, that is his first NFL reception, and it's good for 6. Holy Toledo.
Stunning play by the Bengals. You have a veteran quarterback in for A.J. Dalton. Joe Hayden doesn't get out on the perimeter by the time they snap the ball, and A.J. Green takes off for the end zone, and Bruce Gronkowski finds him for a touchdown. See it right there? Yeah. He doesn't get there. Quick snap.
The defense wasn't set.
But the offense was.
It was.
And they don't have to wait for you if you're on defense.
Well, Colts owner Jim Irsay said this morning that Indy fans should brace themselves for the idea that Peyton Manning won't be coming back until 2012. He made the comments at a donor kickoff breakfast affair for the Super Bowl, but once word got out that he said that, he went on Twitter to try and clarify it and really didn't clear it up at all. This is from Jim Irsay's Twitter account at 1028. Hey, I didn't say Peyton is out for the season for sure. Keeping him on the active roster and taking it month by month. Outside chance of a return in December is possible. So here's what we've learned today. Peyton Manning is out unless he isn't out. Okay, we know this much. He's going to be out for at least 3/4 of the season. And clearly they're not the same team without him. So what should they do? Should they just shut it down, or should they try and bring him back?
Well, I guess I look at this globally for the National Football League, not just the Colts. I mean, I know how important he is to Indianapolis, but he's important to the National Football League. If we have to lose Peyton for a year so that he's completely healthy and he can come back and play and there's no long-term health risk, then it's better for the league to have him the next 4 or 5 years. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
If we lose him 1 year, but we gave him 4 or 5 for the National Football League, better for the NFL.
You also have an obligation to the guys that are on your roster, though. So whether it's Kerry Collins that gives you the best chance to win, and whether it's Curtis Painter, and whether it's freeing up that roster spot by putting Peyton Manning on the IR, you need to do also what's best for the guys that are fighting it out every weekend right now for the Indianapolis Colts.
And I'll give the Colts a lot of credit. They really did fight it out Sunday night in that game against the Steelers. They gave it everything they had, but you can certainly tell I'm not saying anything that people don't already know, what a difference Peyton Manning makes in that offense when you take a look at the numbers. The Colts and the Rams are the only two teams, by the way, that are completing less than 50% of their passes. And, oh, by the way, they're both 0-3. The Colts are 27th in pass yards per game. They were first last season.
Can you imagine you're saying that?
It's nuts.
I guess it would be a real shocker if Peyton Manning was your quarterback who were saying that.
Yeah, and
but
it could be the
without...
Curtis Painter era now with Kerry Collins. Meanwhile, what a game in Western New York. It's between Buffalo and New England. Again, Buffalo had lost 15 straight games. 2 minutes left in the half. They were down 21-0. There's a little fade route to Stevie Johnson, and just like that, it's 21-7. Remember, they were down 21-3 last week against the Raiders, came back to win. Tom Brady, oh, that's off. Danny Woodhead picked off by Brian Scott. The Bills would march down the field and kick a field goal to make it 21-10. Second half, Brady looking for Ocho Cinco, picked off by Leotis McKelvin. That's Brady's second of the game. He had 4 picks all of last year. Ensuing Bills drive. Someone tell me how Scott Chandler, who is 6'7", continues to get wide open.
Tricky.
Great play calling. Great scheme.
Great design.
Bills down 21-17. Now it's Rob Gronkowski. No, it's not. It's a third interception for Tom Brady. This time George Wilson picks him off. So ensuing Bills drive after a pass interference call that probably wasn't a pass interference call. Fred Jackson goes in, and just like that, from 21 down, we're tied at 24. Next Patriots possession. Okay, you know it's not your day. It's just not your day. Brady, the 4th interception in the game, had 4 of all of last year. Bills up 31-24. 2 minutes to play. It's tied at 31 after another Wes Welker touchdown. Oh, it's the Harvard to Co-College connection. Ryan Fitzpatrick to Fred Jackson. He was down at the 1, which actually really hurt the Patriots because they were allowed to bleed out the clock. And Ryan Lindell right there, 34-31. The Bills finally take down New England.
We played a good football team. We made too many mistakes. So, it's tough to overcome as many mistakes as we did. And they made a lot of plays. We got a good team.
We came out and we were confident. We knew we could beat these guys. We put ourselves in a hole early again, but again, we were still confident, knowing that we could come out and play with anybody.
There were probably very few believers in us going into this game, especially when we spotted them the points early. Anybody that believed in us was probably, on the edge. And we had so much belief.
There's ups and downs in this game. That's what I've told them all week. There's ups and downs. Just handle the ups and downs. Just keep playing, gentlemen. If you keep playing, good things will happen to you. And our guys keep playing. You got to give them their due in the character department now.
No doubt about that. There is no quit in the Buffalo Bills. They've scored a league-high 113 points, their most ever through the first 3 games of the season. Pretty impressive when you think that Buffalo ranked 28th in scoring a year ago, averaging just under 18 points a contest. I think you heard Chan Gailey talk about it, Tim. Just keep playing. There's going to be ups and downs. If you watch the Buffalo Bills, even when they were losing, 8 straight games or whatever it was last year to start the season, even then, they never quit. There was never this sense that the Bills were like, it's just not going to happen. They kept chopping wood.
Yeah, and they, you said it, they keep fighting, they're going after it, and really, they believe in their quarterback. And one of the reasons they believe in their quarterback is he's so good before the snap. He's able to diagnose what's going to happen and make sure that his team has a successful play. Look at this. They're in an empty set here. The New England Patriots are going to end up blitzing the protection. Well, what do you do if your protection's blitzed? You get the ball out of your hands to your hot wide receiver. In this case, a running back coming on a shallow cross. That's Fred Jackson. And that's exactly what Ryan Fitzpatrick does for that offense. Gets the ball out of his hands, gets it to those playmakers. And those guys on the perimeter, whether it's Stevie Johnson, Fred Jackson, those guys are making plays for that offense.
People were talking about you don't want to get into a shootout with the New England Patriots. But I will tell you this, based on how their defense has played, you might want to consider it because this defense has struggled not just during the season, but even in the preseason. Detroit shredded them in the preseason by spreading people out, and that's what the Buffalo Bills did. Now, the Patriots do some interesting things defensively, but I will tell you this, Fitzpatrick was ahead of the game. He was ahead of the Patriots when on pre-snap to post-snap. He knew what they were doing, and he figured them out. Their perimeter players didn't cover very well, and the real concern they got to have is they just don't get consistent pressure on the quarterback. That will always be a problem in the back
last
end
couple of years
when you
them.
Can't do that. They got Albert Haynesworth. They thought, well, problem solved. Albert Haynesworth doesn't even play. So they still got the same issues they had going into this season.
If you're a Patriots fan, you're looking for a silver lining. The last time they lost a regular season game to the Bills, they went on to win 2 straight Super Bowls. So that's it.
Well,
By the way, perhaps you don't want to get into a shootout with the Buffalo Bills.
There you go.
They've been unbelievable, and
There
the
you
Bills
go.
are the first team ever to come back and win back-to-back weeks after being down by 18 points or more. Again, going back to that fact, they just don't quit. Another team that doesn't quit, the Detroit Lions. All they've done is win for the last 11 games they've played. Look at Jim Schwartz.
Here they are, the national panel.
Today I'm feeling like the bee's knees.
Every day I lose, I die just a little.
Around the Horn is my favorite to do.
Let's go to work.
A great young talent.
He is not that popular.
Tell me, they win bad games.
I have a real problem with it because he punched a guy.
Why'd you have to go get Woody all riled up?
Get over it.
I'm fine with it.
Woody and I get awful tired of having to set these youngins straight.
What more could you possibly want? The perfect bobblehead technique.
Going old school.
Here's an extra point for you. How about that? It's not over, it's just beginning.
Don't miss Around the Horn, weekdays on ESPN America.
The pageantry of Super Bowl 35 was larger than life.
Something else, huh? How cool is this?
The Baltimore Ravens took an early lead over the New York Giants with a Trent Dilfer touchdown pass to Brandon Stokely.
Throwing deep down the middle for Stokely. He's got it. 10-5. Touchdown. Brandon Stokely for the score.
Super Bowl MVP Ray Lewis led a Ravens defense that intercepted Giants quarterback Kerry Collins 4 times.
Slant over the middle, picked up by Dwayne Starks. He's got a touchdown. Touchdown to Wayne Starks. And the best defense in the business is showing the world why. Yeah, baby!
With a 34-7 win, the Ravens captured their first Super Bowl victory in franchise history.
Deep ball, Bryant caught it over the corner. Touchdown! Vick under center. He's in. Touchdown! Yes! Crossfire! All day long. Go. It's gonna happen. Let's go!
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. $20 if you get it tattooed. I'll alert the media on that. Boom. Hey, shut up with that. We agree. This is horrific. I needed a nap. One word. Magnifique. I'm thinking my quarterback. Just stop talking. What are these players thinking? You didn't call that. But you know what we do have?
Pardon the interruption. Weekdays on ESPN America.
Well, it has been the dark of the moon lately for the Detroit Lions, but that's all changing now, baby, just like the Buffalo Bills. Oh, the tide has turned. At one point, they're down 20-0, and Megatron makes the catch. 32-yard touchdown. How does he do it?
He's big, and he can jump.
Okay, good to know.
You can't defend that.
Scientifically explained by Tim Hasselbeck. That cut it to 20-7. Under 20 seconds left in the third, Javid Best. Burst! Burst, Merrill! That's quick. Quick feet. 60-yard gain. The Lions with a 1st and goal at the Vikings 5 to end the third. So let's flip ends, shall we? After the Javid Best 60-yarder, let's just do a little short one to who, Tim?
That is a laser to Megatron.
Did you call a freaking laser? It's 20-17. We go to overtime, tied at 23. If you're Minnesota, you're thinking, are we really blowing this lead again? This is the best one of them all. How did he do that?
The throw was impressive as well, but the way he tracks that football over his shoulder, incredible.
So they're all set up. Jason Hanson, good Lord, he's had a long career, and most of it's been lousy in Detroit, so good for him. Pumps that one through. It is a 26-23 win. 3-0, the Lions are. Yeah!
We started a little bit slow. Had some unfortunate, plays there in the first half, but we stayed patient as a play caller, as a quarterback as a team. You know, we stayed patient. We understood that our chances were going to come, and they did, and we made some plays.
We haven't had a victory like that since I've been here. We don't think we've come back from such a deficit. So, and then to do it here with all the things going against us, you know, it was big.
That was as tough of a win, getting the win, as I've been a part of. We had to overcome a lot of adversity. It's tough to be down 20 at the half. Got the ball to our playmakers. You know, put the ball on Jason Hanson's foot, and you know, we had good things happen.
Think about what he just said. Good things happen. This is the Lions we're talking about, and good things are happening. Only the 10th NFL team to win a game in which it trailed by 20 or more points at the intermission after being shut out in the first half. 8 of those teams did so on the road, the most recent being the Bears at Arizona in that epic Monday night game in October of 2006, where Denny Green says, "They are who we thought they were," and we let them off the hook. Again, you count preseason, and for the point of this discussion we are, the last 11 times the Detroit Lions have played a game, they've come away with a win. They're 3-0 for the first time since Jimmy Carter's presidency. What impresses you most?
Well, the first thing that, before I get to how much they impressed me, the next time they do some interviews afterwards, they're going to have a podium. The Detroit Lions are good enough to have a podium afterwards. You can put that backdrop in a podium for the Detroit Lions. But the thing that's most impressive about the Lions team is they dug themselves out. Yes, your quarterback has to make some plays, but your wide receivers made some plays too. You got to protect up front. You got to stop. Their defensive line finally started to take over in this game. This is an excellent football team with playmakers on it and difference makers. This makes them a very scary team and a chance to get in the playoffs and win in the playoffs.
We all acknowledge that they have talent on their team now, but the difference now is that they believe in Jim Schwartz, and Jim Schwartz has changed the culture there in Detroit. And you hear things like, "We've never been a part of a win like that," and then to do it here, it's a different atmosphere. You can hear it when people talk about it, and you can see it when they play, even when they're down by a bunch of points.
At any level, belief is a powerful thing. But when you have a team that has been down for so long and suddenly they're believing, and as you said, with the playmakers they have, I don't think the Lions are going away, much like the Buffalo Bills, anytime soon.
They're going to have a swagger now.
Yeah, and according to the Elias Sports Bureau, Sunday was the first time 2 teams overcame deficits of 20 points on the same day, September of 1999. Injuries always a part of the NFL Sundays. We've got the very latest. Stay with us.
From exotic escapes to spa indulgences to golf getaways, you'll discover your perfect retreat at Starwood Hotels and Resorts' brand new website, spg.com/resorts. Book your dream vacation at one of more than 200 amazing resorts and take advantage of our best rate guarantee. More luxury, more destinations. spg.com/resorts.
Any Super Bowl predictions or any team you'd like to see there?
Geez, I love preseason Super Bowl picks.
Super Bowl?
We haven't even played the World Series.
I'm really good with football, so to be honest, I think it's anyone's year.
Can I say Carolina? No.
I have Eagles over Steelers in the Super Bowl.
As a lifelong Eagles fan, the Eagles finally are going to win the Super Bowl.
They made a lot of significant moves in the offseason.
Nnamdi Asomugha,
Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, Jason Babin.
They now have Steve Smith.
Ronnie Brown signs with Philly.
Oh, dream team.
They're finally going to bring the Super Bowl championship home.
Finally win a Super Bowl after all this time.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
My pick in this year's Super Bowl is Patriots against the Eagles.
They are an angry football team. Their last 3 playoff losses have been embarrassing.
All we hear is about their defense. They can't stop a nosebleed.
At the end of the day, they have the NFL's MVP touching the football each and every snap.
Patriots, Eagles, Super Bowl, Tom Brady and the Patriots win it again.
I'm going with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots against the Green Bay Packers.
Hard to say you would bet anything against Green Bay the way they look right now.
What would have happened if we'd had off-season workouts? I mean, could we have started any faster?
If the Packers keep playing like that, I'm not sure anybody's going to beat them.
And it is 13-0 Green Bay.
I've personally been on a team that repeated as Super Bowl champs. And this year, I think the Green Bay Packers will be that team.
I like the Green Bay Packers to repeat as Super Bowl champions.
In the end, the Green Bay Packers will repeat.
As we cross the bottom of the hour here on NFL Live, recapping the headlines of the day. Michael Vick's right hand, again, his non-throwing hand, is bruised, not broken as originally thought. That's good news. Colts owner Jim Irsay tweeted there's an outside chance that Peyton Manning could return in December. This after he told everybody in Indianapolis, get ready for him in 2012. And the Bills and the Lions, two teams that haven't been to the playoffs since 1999, are both off to 3-0 starts, both with epic comebacks on Sunday. Mondays after Sunday games, always about the injuries. And for the very latest on that, we bring in ESPN insider Adam Schefter. Adam, let's start with Michael Vick. They thought it was a fracture when they looked at the x-ray, but they got good news today in Philadelphia.
That's the great news for the Eagles right now, Trey. Essentially, Michael Vick's hand was not fractured, not broken. He had a blood vessel in there that was broken that confused the Eagles on the x-ray that they took yesterday. So it is not broken. Obviously still not himself from that concussion. Didn't look exactly right, grabbing his head throughout the day on Sunday in the loss to the Giants. But the hand is not broken now. It'll be a pain tolerance thing, whether he can take snaps from the center and absorb the pain in that right hand. That'll be the issue going forward. But there's a chance that Vick could wind up playing against the 49ers on Sunday.
Okay, and is there any chance from what you've been able to ascertain that there is the possibility that Peyton Manning will play? Jim Irsay said at that kickoff breakfast, get ready for him in 2012. And then when news of that broke out, he said, oh, there's still an outside chance. So where do we stand? Is there really anything new with Peyton Manning here?
Trey, it is all but a formality that eventually Peyton Manning is going to wind up on the injured reserve list. By the time he would be ready to come back, you'd have to think that the Colts would be out of it in terms of a playoff race. If the Colts are out of it, why would you bring Peyton Manning back in the month of December to try to get on the roster to get some work? You're talking about an injury that's required 3 surgeries within the past 2 years. It's most important to that franchise and to Peyton Manning as a person to get healthy and to get ready for 2012. Jim Irsay was telling the truth when he said that Peyton Manning would not play again this year. I don't think anybody expects that Peyton Manning is going to play again this year, but he's not on IR right now. He still is on the roster, and so there still remains that chance. It's just that it is the longest of long shots.
Okay, so let's move on to another team in the AFC South, and that's Tennessee. What can you tell us about wideout Kenny Britt? It didn't look good yesterday.
We said yesterday it was going to be a torn ACL. That's exactly what it looks like today. We are awaiting official word from the Tennessee Titans to make it official, but Kenny Britt is not going to play again this season. He's going to be out for the year. It was a bad knee injury that he suffered against the Broncos yesterday. They knew it yesterday, and it looks like it's going to be true today. The other notable injury suffered yesterday came in Houston. Mario Williams injured his knee. He underwent an MRI today. Fortunately for him, it came back negative. There was some fluid on the knee. He may not be able to practice this week, but the Texans are holding out hope that he will be able to play Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That'll be a day-by-day situation that Houston will monitor closely.
All right, Adam, we're only 3 games into the regular season, but we're hearing that coaches are already under a little pressure, especially Tony Sparano in Miami. How hot is the seat right now there?
They're not going to make a change right now, but if the Dolphins were to go to 0-4 on Sunday in San Diego, they then would be headed into a bye week with a Monday night game in New York against the Jets on deck. And at that point, you'd have to think that the pressure and the spotlight on Tony Sparano would intensify. You go back to 2008, there were 2 teams that made changes 4 games into the season. The Rams did it. The Raiders did it, and certainly everybody would be waiting to see if the Dolphins would do the same if they fall to 0-4 on Sunday, which would be their 7th straight loss. They've already lost 11 of their past 12 games at home, and obviously Tony Sparano right now is feeling the heat and has been since the offseason when the Dolphins openly courted Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, exactly. At one point, they didn't expect him back anyway. All right, Adam, thanks. We appreciate that. We'll see more of you coming up tonight on Monday Night Countdown at 7 Eastern. Countdown leads into the Monday night game. What to watch for? How about the 15th meeting in Monday Night Football between the Cowboys and the Redskins? Redskins looking for their first 3-0 start since 2005. Last time they actually won a playoff game as well. Coverage again begins with Monday Night Countdown. Now to Ed Werder with a DirecTV team report from Cowboy Stadium.
Well, Trey, you know, Rex Grossman's gone from Super Bowl quarterback to a player who spent 3 months without a contract offer to unexpectedly edging John Beck in training camp to be the Redskins starter tonight. Grossman enthusiastically and with some profanity told us, we're 2-0, so you're damn right I'm excited about being on Monday Night Football. And despite the good Rex, bad Rex reputation, Grossman's won more than 61% of his starts, which is a figure higher, Trey, than Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Michael Vick, and Eli Manning.
Ed, thank you. One of the reasons for the Redskins' early success, their ability to control the clock. Washington leads the NFL in time of possession, This after ranking 26th in that statistic a year ago. As for the Cowboys, they are 8th this season, holding the ball for slightly more than 32 minutes. You know, it looked like John Beck was perceived to be the guy that Mike Shanahan wanted to win the job in Washington. Rex played better in the preseason, Tim, and he came out and said during that preseason, hey, you know, we're going to win this division. Long way to go, but 2 games in, he's proving that his confidence in his team and himself was pretty accurate.
Yeah, and when you look at Rex play, he looks like a different quarterback. There's a calm about him in Washington that you didn't see when he was a young player playing in Chicago. And he's not, the best way I can describe it is, he's not as hyper in the pocket. He's done an excellent job playing in the confines of that offense. He obviously has a very good command of it. He's been in that offense for 3 years now. 1 year in Houston, 2 years in Washington now. And he's doing an excellent job, again, staying within the offense, but still playing aggressively. As you know, we saw him on a 4th and 3 take a shot in the end zone a week ago. He's doing a very good job in that offense, and he's a big part of why they are where they are.
You know, if either one of these offenses want to have success tonight, they better take care of some defensive ends. And I think a lot of people know about DeMarcus Ware, but Brian Orakpo for the Washington Redskins is also a game wrecker. You got to count for DeMarcus Ware. You got to put tight ends over there, help out with your tackle, backs, chipping, do a lot of things. And the Cowboys are moving him around even more so to create matchups. And when you look at Orakpo, he has the same game-wrecking ability. If you do not account for him, or you just assume that your tackle or a tight end can handle him, he'll wreck your game plan. He can take over a football game, and he is on the cutting edge of doing that. And I believe this will be the first time he's ever been on a Monday night. And I can tell you this, from my excitement when I got to play on a Monday night, the way you play, how you elevate yourself, this would be a night that Brian Orakpo just may shine.
And something that's really helping Orakpo is the play of Ryan Kerrigan, their first-round pick on the other end.
He's benefiting.
Had a pick-6 in his first game. He's really bringing it up. So you can't just try and isolate on one side because the Redskins.
But you better start there.
Yeah, start with Orakpo and work your way down to Ryan Kerrigan. As for the other 2 teams in the NFC East, Eagles and Giants squared off on Sunday. Again, much made about Michael Vick's comments and his hand. There were other things at stake here. Eli Manning playing last week on Monday night. That offense was stagnant, but here he finds Victor Cruz and somehow both Kurt Coleman and Nnamdi Asomugha, who they pay a lot of money
to cover.
But not to.
Maybe they give him a bonus for tackling.
It's part of it. It's part of it.
74 yards for the score.
Right,
Giants up 14-0.
Just cruising. I'm cruising. Is that a song?
Victor Cruz on a Sunday afternoon?
Well done, Mel. Well done.
Cruising. I'm not sure that's the tune at all, but that's very good. Then Michael Vick to Jeremy Maclin for a gain of 23. But here, now that's a legitimate concern. That looked like a helmet lead, right? Chris Canty?
You surely could argue that was.
You could make.
I could see how that could be a flag. Absolutely.
This has been a problem for the Eagles forever. 3rd and short yardage situations, they're going nowhere. Owen Schmidt going backward. They would have to take a field goal. There you see Vic going for the x-rays, which they first thought were a fracture, then it was a blood vessel, so it wasn't a fracture. Did we say Victor Cruz over Nnamdi Asomugha?
Well, we did.
They do.
How often do we say this?
Merrill, they do pay him to defend the pass, though, don't they?
That is true. Hey, listen, I'm not saying you got a good deal or a bad deal. I'm just like,
he went up and got the ball. That was a great deal for Victor Cruz. And then 3rd and 11, little screen play. The Eagles are a big screen team, and then the Giants just did it right to them there.
Yeah, they made those linebackers play, baby.
29-16. Eli very efficient. No interceptions after 7 straight games with an interception. Again, Eli Manning became just the 4th quarterback since the merger to throw 4 touchdown passes in a game at Philadelphia. Manning, who equaled a career high with those 4 touchdown passes, became the first to do it in a win at Philadelphia since Joe Montana threw for 5 scores in 1989. Okay, obviously, Vic hits, whether or not they're there or not, that's something to be looked at, but there are bigger issues for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, and I think you have to question the toughness of this football team. You know, we're watching the video there of Nnamdi Asomugha not making a tackle, but I think this is a bigger problem for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're not physical enough in situational football, being able to run the ball down on the goal line, being able to run the ball in 3rd or 4th and short. They just haven't been able to do it. And then when you look at them on defense, they're not physical there either. You look at the New York Giants just pounding the football right at them. So to me, all these perimeter players, all this speed on offense, all this speed on defense, that's fine. But if you can't stop the person who's coming right at you, you have a big problem.
Well, see, and the Eagles knew that going into this matchup. I don't know if a lot of people knew this, but the Eagles said, listen, let's switch our linebackers around because the Giants want to run the football at us. So we're going to switch our linebackers around. Now, just switching them just because you play linebacker doesn't mean it's going to be that easy. If you played inside, now you're going to play outside like they'd asked Matthews to do. You know, that's different reads. It's a different world out there. And the Giants said, all right, well, let's make him play in the passing game. Create hesitation. They get Brandon Jacobs out of the backfield. Matthews is late reacting to it. This was strategically done to take advantage of the switch that the Eagles made, thinking the Giants were going to run the ball at them. They didn't think they were going to throw it at them with their backs.
Yeah, again, Brandon Jacobs, once he gets ahead of steam, good luck trying to catch that. And it's a very tough test next Sunday. That San Francisco defense has played very well. Excellent. And they are, again, a very physical team as they take on the Eagles next Sunday. Lots more coming here on NFL Live when we continue the very latest on what to expect tonight in the Monday night game and how will Tony play football if it hurts to breathe and laugh. That's ahead on NFL Live. You're going to tell us a little bit about that. And you've had some issues there as well.
Sunday Night Football live on ESPN America kicks off with our Week 4 triple header. First, Matt Stafford and the Lions head to Big D to take on America's team. Then Aaron Rodgers and the world champs welcome the Broncos to Lambeau Field. And the Ravens will bring some purple pain as they host Rex and the Jets. It all starts at 1600 CET with Sunday NFL Countdown. Sunday Night Football live on ESPN America, home of the NFL.
The Iditarod, more than 1,000 miles long, through North America's harshest terrain. For those who make it to the finish, it is the journey of a lifetime. For Newton Marshall, the real journey was just making it to the starting line.
It was an opportunity to see the world. Yeah, that's all was in my head coming here. They tell me it's 1,000 miles, but I didn't know 1,000 miles was so long.
The 27-year-old growing up in Jamaica, the most unlikely Iditarod musher ever. More people have climbed Mount Everest than have claimed an Iditarod belt buckle, the traditional prize given to all first-time finishers. No Jamaican has ever attempted it.
Go Jamaica! Go Newton!
There are near whiteout conditions. The blizzard will cause 5 mushers to drop out of the race. Newton will develop frostbite on his face.
Yeah, I'm going to checkpoints and people want to meet me. Yeah, that's just cool, you know?
It's that ability to stay positive, even when it's 30 below, even when you're 5,000 miles from home, that has gotten Newton this far.
Once the opportunity comes, you have to just grab it. You know? Don't say no, because you never know how far you might reach.
The rundown today, I knew it was going to be a good day.
Feeling good about this. We're all like kids.
It's a great head.
It's almost salon perfect.
Ooh.
Got a little crazy here. We've become the most violent show on television. I am unaffected by this.
Merry Christmas! I'm going to need some pep. Holy moly!
Oh, that was a good day.
Don't miss Sports Nation, weekdays on ESPN America.
NFL Live leading you up to the Monday night game between the Cowboys and the Redskins. There's the Corona Extra bus pulling into Cowboy Stadium, and in that bus, our coach, John Gruden, sitting down and talking with Cowboy quarterback Tony Romo.
Isn't it all about Tony Romo now some way, winning a world championship? Isn't that all that's left now?
Well, I think that's why you play the game. That's why you coach the game. That's why you do all this stuff, is to reach the pinnacle and to get to a point where you accomplish what you set out to do. And that's obviously the goal.
Tony paraphrasing our own Herm Edwards there. That's why you play to win the game. Much more of that with Romo and Coach Gruden. Monday NFL Countdown, 7 Eastern, right here on ESPN. All right, the good news is for the Cowboy faithful is that Tony Romo's going to give it a go. The bad news is the Redskins know it. They know exactly what the problem is. You know, he says it hurts to sleep, it hurts to breathe. How is he going to play football?
It's a good question because he's going to have to be tough to play through this. My biggest concern is, as a quarterback, being able to stand strong in the pocket and deliver a throw when you know you're going to get hit. And think about when you go to throw the football. you're going to have to basically open up your body to extend your throat. Now, Merrill, if you're running right at Tony Romo and you know he has a rib injury and he's opened up like that, where are you hitting him?
Well, I just want to hit you in the shoulder because I know your ribs are hurting.
Yeah,
Bam!
exactly. You got to hit you right there. And that's the biggest problem. I think when you look at Tony Romo, having to step into a throw, to make a throw downfield, knowing that he's going to get hit. It's one thing to stand there and throw to your buddy right in front of you. It's another thing when you have to step into a throw to drive it down the field, and you've got a defensive lineman running right at you to hit you right there.
How?
Yeah.
Well, it's the mental aspect.
Good core
of it.
program.
That's the biggest
all right?
problem, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, I broke 2 ribs and had separated rib cartilage, and I did play the next week, 1 play. I mean,
One
by the
carry?
time I had 1 carry, and I was like, I actually couldn't do it. It was so painful. Now, I didn't have a shot, and I had the torn rib cartilage, which was probably the worst part of it, but the 2 broken ribs and the combination, it wasn't until the next week that I was actually effective enough to play consistently.
Well, a lot of people that don't play football think of it this way, like in golf. If you know there's a pond over there to the left, what are you saying? Don't hit it left, don't hit it left.
And you have
That's
to
the same
think
thing
about
here.
if it affects his accuracy, knowing that it's going to hurt when you get hit.
We'll know a lot about him after his first hit.
Right.
A lot about him.
And again, see if that injection takes more than anything else.
And even maybe his first throw.
So
we'll
it was a big win last week for Tony Romo. If somehow he guts it out and has a big win tonight, that would be another one. There were plenty of big wins on Sunday around the NFL. And we take a look at them, including the Packers staying unbeaten as they beat the Bears 27-17. Aaron Rodgers threw for 297 and 3 touchdowns, all of which went to Jermichael Finley in the 10-point win in Chicago. The Raiders did something to the Jets that no one has ever done to them as long as Rex Ryan was their head coach. They just ran right at them. McFadden rushed for a career-high 171 yards, the first ever team to rush for over 200 yards against that Jet defense as they snapped their 9-game losing streak outside their own division. Drew Brees tied an NFL record with 3 go-ahead touchdown passes in the second half, leading the Saints to an amazing shootout win, 40-33 over the Texans. New Orleans has won 2-0, 2 straight after dropping the season opener in Green Bay. And how about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They edged the Falcons 16-13 in a battle of NFC South rivals. They had lost 5 straight to the Atlanta Falcons. And oh, by the way, the last 6 games combined, 29 points decide them between the two. So everybody wins now, presented by JCPenney. And let's call it a comeback Sunday, shall we? 4 different teams, the Bills, the Lions, the Saints, and the Raiders, all came back to win after trailing by double digits. The Bills, in fact, became the first team in the history of the NFL to win consecutive games after trailing by at least 18 points in each of them. When we continue here on NFL Live, we simply call it a Monday staple. It's otherwise known as Sunday Standouts. It's just ahead.
In Super Bowl 20, the unstoppable Chicago Bears met the AFC wildcard New England Patriots. Following an early turnover by Chicago, New England would be the first to score, but the Patriots were then forced to watch their fragile lead get blown away in a record-breaking tidal wave of points. Jim McMahon and his solid offense marched over the Patriot defense for 408 yards, 3 field goals, and led by MVP Richard Dent, the Bears' league-leading defense registered 7 sacks and limited the Patriots to a meager 7 rushing yards, enabling Chicago to walk off with a decisive win.
Last time I told you guys that, you forgot to remember. Remember?
They're tackling our guys on pass protection.
Give me a number! What the hell's that?
Tell him to throw up on his own time. You better think about that, because you can't play if you don't do what I tell you. You're going to be tired of me. Oh, you're going to be tired of me.
From exotic escapes to spa indulgences to golf getaways, you'll discover your perfect retreat at Starwood Hotels and Resorts' brand new website, spg.com/resorts. Book your dream vacation at one of more than 200 amazing resorts and take advantage of our best rate guarantee. More luxury, more destinations. spg.com/resorts.
Monday Night Football live on ESPN America. Week 3 kicks off with an NFC blockbuster. As Cowboys Stadium prepares for the first home game of the season, will America's team pile misery on their biggest rivals? Or can Rex and the Skin silence the Big D and claim another victory in the NFC East? It all starts tonight at 0100 CET with Monday NFL Countdown. Monday Night Football live on ESPN America, home of the NFL.
But you want to talk about a dream performance? How about a dream start to Torrey Smith's NFL career? He tweeted before the Rams game. Got a good feeling about this. Oh, yeah. All he did was catch 3 touchdown passes in the first quarter. His first 3 catches were touchdowns. The last rookie to do that was Tucker Fredrickson, the Giants' #1 overall pick in the 1965 season. That is 3 touchdowns in his first quarter. Congratulations to him. Monday, Staples, Sunday standouts. Tim, what's the best pass?
Oh, Matthew Stafford escaping outside the pocket. Look at this throw on the run, back across his body. Don't do that unless you got an arm like Matthew Stafford.
And a receiver like Megatron. Best run, Merrill Hodge.
Best run of the day with sunshine.
Yes.
Darren McFadden, boy, they do a great job of getting a seal here and a seal there, and then the weavy alley to the end zone. Then we also need the best run in the rain.
All right, I like that because all
like
elements,
so we do a little
play into it.
Little Maurice Jones-Drew.
Where is
man,
he?
Let's just get a
Where
couple
is he?
yards.
Where is he?
But not him. I got the flippers on. I got the wings on. I'm rolling, bowling, rolling down the field. Best run in the rain.
Jags and Panthers 2x2. In the
2 runs. We're going to go with 3 passes. Then best catches. Best catch. Calvin Johnson, Megatron. Look at the way he tracks this football. Unbelievable the way to do it. And then a crucial moment in the game in overtime there. Best tip catch by an offensive player.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Hodge? Look at this. Matt Schaub forces one. Just
that
like,
throws off 8 people.
That's just how they drew it up. That's how he wants it done. But look at Kevin Walter. The presence of mind. And gets the left hand on it and gets it into the end zone. We're not done, Merrill. We're not done.
He's one up in you, Hodge.
That's right.
I got the last laugh.
No, you don't. Best tip catch for a defense. Tom Brady, Danny Woodhead, inaccurate ball behind him. Brian Scott.
That was not,
what do you mean?
a pass, it's an interception.
It's a catch.
It's the wrong category.
An interception
No,
can be a catch.
No, it's an interception.
It can be considered a catch.
Brian Scott caught it.
Completely different
And
category.
Judge goes with Hasselbeck.
Now he's a Sunday standout.
What about
All right, best hit. If they ever have an end around, you got to worry about the end around. You got to keep your head on a swivel.
No.
Hey, Jim Leonard. Oh, my God.
He's leading with
Samson Satele out there. Okay, best play design, both of you. Although I think this might have been by accurate or confusion because every Packer went to the right, the ball went to the left, and there goes Johnny Knox. The only thing that ruined this was a useless holding penalty because there was nobody within 50 yards of him.
Oh. How about Dave Tope getting creative on special teams? Johnny Knox
how did he
and
know?
Devin Hester back
But how
there.
did he know? This had to be a mistake by the punter.
Look, the punter thought he kicked it to the right.
Exactly.
But it tells you how much you game plan for Devin Hester.
Yeah.
Wherever Devin Hester is, we're going to go after Devin Hester. And we don't care where the ball is. That's how good that guy is.
It
We're
was.
going to get Devin Hester.
I don't know if it was a total shank by the punter or somehow they all knew where it was going to go. And whatever it was awesome.
And
it just didn't count. So out of everything that did count Sunday, Tim, let's start with you. What impressed you the most?
I think what impressed me the most was Merrill's run of the game, and that's the way that the Oakland Raiders ran the football. The New York Jets are a physical group up front. They play with a lot of the bare front, the solid fronts. It didn't matter. The Oakland Raiders absolutely handed it to them, and Run DMC was phenomenal.
Merrill, what impressed you?
For me, it was the Detroit Lions. Not just a team, but a city and a community that needs to have confidence, some type of energy, and for them to come back in the fashion they did in a team effort, most impressed with the Detroit Lions.
Say the same thing about the Buffalo Bills, but Jim Schwartz agrees with you. Fist pump for the ages. Okay, let's play the buzzkill. What depressed you the most?
What depressed me the most was the St. Louis Rams on defense. It was really St. Louis Rams on both sides of the football, but defensively, just not showing up to play. Offensively, not protecting your quarterback. They depressed me the most. Merrill, it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm depressed by Chris Johnson. You know, the most electrifying, exciting playmaker. That's why he wanted to get paid.
Playmaker
There's
money.
been
Back to back.
absolutely no playmaking whatsoever. Way too much hesitation in his running game.
In 3 games, he's yet to run for 100 yards total in those 3 games.
And that ain't good.
We're coming back. Stay with us.
In only 4 seasons, the dominating Dallas Cowboys walked away with 3 Super Bowl wins. In Super Bowl 27, Dallas took on the Buffalo Bills. MVP Troy Aikman threw 4 touchdowns to secure Dallas's 3rd win in 6 trips to the Super Bowl. 1 year later, Aikman and his Cowboys met Buffalo for a rematch. Emmitt Smith, the game's MVP, rushed for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns to hand the Buffalo Bills their 4th consecutive Super Bowl defeat. In 1996, Dallas went in pursuit of yet another NFL championship. The game turned in the Cowboys' favor as cornerback Larry Brown's 2 key interceptions both culminated in Dallas touchdowns, the second of which came in the final minutes of the game to lock up the win for Dallas.
Listen in and tell me who did it. Ndamukong Suh with the sack. Sacked by Ndamukong Suh. Back in the backfield is buried. It's Ndamukong Suh. Redskins at their own 30. Lost the football. It's free on the ground. The Lions have it. Ndamukong Suh. Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Tuesday Night Baseball live on ESPN America. All eyes are on the AL East as the playoff race heats up. Can Longoria and the Rays continue their late season charge, or will the Yankees close the door on their postseason hopes? Yankees at Rays tomorrow at 0100 CET, live on ESPN America.
It's deflected. Walter has it up to deflection across the 5. He's in the end zone. Officials' arms go up. Touchdown, Houston. Down the left sideline. There goes Cruz. Touchdown, Giants. Goes right side, Finlay. Touchdown. Newton fires over the middle. It's caught. It is caught at the 10, the 5. Touchdown. Greg Olsen.
Pass is tipped and it is intercepted. Picked off by Flores at the 22. Cuts to the left at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown! Touchdown! Braden Flores, touchdown! Tom Brady's 4th interception.
We played a good football team. We made too many mistakes.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Fucking red score!
That was the most incredible play I've ever seen in 7 years. I think everyone on the sidelines was wondering what the heck just happened.
Right corner of the end zone. Massaquoi caught it! Touchdown! He got it both in. Spot down, pick on the way. It is up, and it is good. And the Lions have won it.
It's a tough place to play. It's tough to get a win. It's the reason we haven't won here for a long time.
All the way goes Darren McFadden for a Raider touchdown.
Well, I don't know what rush defense you're talking about.
Sweezen's kick is on its way. That kick is up. That kick is good.
Everybody's seen the game. I'm on the ground constantly.
The kick is up and good. The Buffalo Bills end a 15-game losing streak against the Patriots.
We're not going anywhere. We'll be back. We'll be fighting next week.
Some pretty good games on Sunday. They will be fighting. That's right. And they'll be fighting mad, too. Got a good one coming up tonight, Monday Night Football. Cowboys home opener, Redskins in town. Who do you like and why?
Well, I like the defenses in this one. However, I like Washington's a little more, and I think Brian Arakpo, stage is set for him to have a big night tonight, like the Redskins.
Yeah, I think Arakpo will have a big night. I think Rex Grossman has a big night. Secondary's not played well for the Dallas Cowboys. I think Rex has another very good game.
Well, we'll see what happens. Again, the Cowboys have not had success in home openers at Cowboy Stadium. In 2009, they lost to the Giants. Last year, they lost to the Bears. This is the 15th meeting on Monday Night Football between the Cowboys and the Redskins.
Yeah.
There you go.
We did.
7-7. Somebody breaks the tie tonight as they continue to have fun stuff happen.
Welcome to Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's.
Deep in the heart of Texas, it's Tony Romo. Yes, warming up, wearing all sorts of stuff, ready to play for the Cowboys against one of their several NFC East arch rivals, the Red